professional services. This forum serves as a critical platform for learning, collaboration, and business linkages. At a time when our enterprises are navigating growing uncertainties, ranging from regulatory pressures and tax demands to access finance and market volatility, it is essential that we engage in open conversation aimed at finding practical solutions and strengthening our resilience as a business community. Our theme this year, navigating the high risks facing business today, speaks directly to the realities we face. Through panel sessions on paths to business growth and tax and credit worthiness, led by our valued experts and partners, we seek to deepen our understanding of business opportunities, legal frameworks, and that's why we have lawyers, tax experts in the house. We seek to ensure that the legal frameworks, tax planning strategies, and credit preparedness. These discussions or consultations are designed not only to inform but to equip you with the actionable tools to grow and protect and sustain your business. Your participation today is invaluable. The outcome of this forum will contribute to a final report that will guide Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry strategy in terms of business advocacy and efforts in starting from January 2026, ensuring that the concerns, and those are your concerns, priorities and aspirations, not only of the local business community, but also at all levels, are effectively represented at all levels. Once again, I wish to thank you for joining us and encourage you to engage actively, constructively, network meaningfully, and share your insights throughout the day. And I'm hoping that you're going to have meaningful and distinctive conversations that will translate in business value. Many a times, we tend to overvalue politics over business. Ours is an engagement into the business of politics. You are surprised? Ours is not an engagement into the business of politics. And I repeat, ours is not an engagement into the business of politics. Ours is an engagement into the business, into the politics of business. The politics of business require that we look at the regulatory framework in which you operate, the enabling environment, okay, and the goodwill of those we elect to ensure that happens. And therefore, we have a role in determining who leads us, because we run the country. The country runs on a business model. If it is not profitable, it will collapse. So today we wish to share insightful thought processes that will help us manage our businesses competently, morally, because there are moral issues around businesses, and also legally. Thank you very much, and I wish to Once again, welcome all of you to this forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Peter Juma. Another round of applause for him. Asante, asante. So we are now getting into the program, and without much further ado, I'll just let you know, maybe there's someone who doesn't understand what Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry stands for, right? The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is a business membership organization. It is a county-led towards headquarters business organizations. The structure starts from the county and then ends at the headquarters in Nairobi. So for those who are in Nairobi or who always go there, you can visit our offices at Ralph Bunch Road, Upper Hill, and then you can be able to get the services there. But in Kakamega here, we are the representative of the business community. So the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Kakamega chapter stands for the business community in Kakamega. If you go to each and every county, you'll find a chapter there. And that's where we serve our businesses. Our offices are on Mumias Road, Maisha Mart building, that is Patient Plaza, 5th floor. If you come there, you'll get our services. So at Chamber, we give what we call advocacy for business community. We do business training. We support our members in terms of market linkages and networking, and also hold sessions, incentive sessions like this one, so that our members can be able to network, link up, and learn something at least day by day. And with that, I've shared a little brief about Chamber Commerce. I know we would wish to share more about it, but time is not on our side. We had planned to start this at exactly 7 a.m. but because from 10:30, right? So watu wanataka kurudi kwa biashara ama tukae hapa siku yote? Asante sana. So we are going straight to session number 2, which is panel discussion. This panel discussion, as we had informed you earlier, we have paths to business growth. Has your business grown? The tag for Chamber, the slogan for Chamber says, growing your business together. It is 2025, from January to December. Has your business grown? If it has not, what is the path to that business growth? That's what we want to dissect here. And those who will help us in dissecting this is Mr. Charles Kasamani from April Properties. Mr. Charles Kasamani is an expert and also a lawyer. He understands more about real estate and also law. And then we have Mr. Brian from Okelemoni Advocates. He understands law and he's also a lawyer. So they will be dissecting this downwards and then help us understand in simpler terms. You know, they are learning friends. So when they are here, we might fail to understand some few wordings there, but I know they have a concern on us so that they don't use those serious words when they are representing us somewhere else. So without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Charles Kasamani on stage. Karibu. Thank you. A clap for as he comes on stage. Karibu, Mr. Charles. Karibu sana. So he'll give us a one word on real estate, and then he'll have a seat, and then we'll welcome Mr. Brian, who will give us a one word on labor laws, and then he has a seat. Thank you.
Good morning. This is the first time I'm standing before business people. My normal day relates to selling ideas. I am a lawyer, 43 years behind me. same wrong thing. As you've been told, my name is Charles Kasamani. I am an advocate and I'm in real estate. Real estate is a branch of business that has been grossly abused, because everybody thinks he can play a role, with the result that there are a lot of quacks. Anybody thinks he can buy and sell land. Anybody thinks he can collect rent. Anybody thinks he can manage property. We'll be discussing the aspect of registration as an estate agent or a property manager, the do's and don'ts, when you can lose out because you are not registered, and I will also look at the distinction between running a business as a sole trader or as a business under the registration of business names or as a limited company. Because we are in business, but you need to distinguish which legal structure would be best suited for what you are doing. And as we discussed, you should be able to know how you can separate yourself from your business so that when shit hits the fan, you can escape the consequences. I'm not sure whether I should stop there for now or whether I should continue to run through my head.
That's okay, you can Thank you very much, Mr. Charles. He's a man of few words, but he knows when to hit. Thank you very much, Mr. Charles. Now we move on to welcome Mr. Brian from Kelemoni and Advocates to say a word on labor laws and then also take a seat so that we can start off with our panel discussion.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been referred as Brian, which is only proper and respectful. My name is Brian Machadio, just for the purpose of the record. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I'm happy my senior, Mr. Kasamani, whom we have interacted quite a lot, is also here. I have roughly not what experience he has, about 10 years experience. But it is usually good to have these kinds of discourse, and we thank the Chamber for inviting us. I am a part. Giving you solutions that do not eat into your pocket. Solutions as to all the relevant problems we face as a business. My role today is to assist in terms of employment and labor relations issues. Why employment and labor relations issues? It is one of the most major, I would say, disputes that are in most of our courts nowadays, pertaining to conflict between employers, conflict between employees, businesses and employees. And it would be very important that we understand the laws that affect you as a business, how you manage to comply with those laws, the challenges that usually we have seen the problems that usually occur in terms of employment matters, and how to essentially prevent yourself from finding yourselves in disputes, which necessarily could have been tackled in other manners which do not essentially necessitate a dispute. So I think it is going to be a good day. I think we have those kinds of discussions, and if we can help each other in terms of helping you ensure your businesses comply with the law or are in line with the law, that is the sole purpose of why we are here. So thank you very much for inviting us, and we look forward to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brian Shalia. Now, we are set. We are set, and on stage we have our two experts who will take us through the discussions for today. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for them. Asanteni sana, asanteni sana. So we've had a little intro about what real estate is and the status of the real estate. And then we also had a few about labor laws. But now we want to break it down. There are those few challenges, Mr. Charles, few challenges that you mentioned here that are adversely affecting the real estate establishment, and this one comes into compliance. You've said everyone thinks can do real estate work. So like Nickel can wake up today and tomorrow you'll hear Nickel real estate and what management. Huh? So what is the procedures? What is the basics of you having a real estate company today? Mr. Charles, can I have a mic?
Like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people who think that buying dealing in real estate is the estate items registration board. The board carries out interviews for interested parties when you apply. But even before they qualify you, you must have some basic understanding of property laws, and acts, so that you are able to competently assist your clients. Estate agency, real estate management is now becoming a profession, like law, like engineering. The board is now open to registering as many people as are competent, and also penalize those who carry out the business without being registered. Quite recently, the penalty for practicing, or if you are caught practicing as an estate agent or a property manager without registration, was increased from 50,000 to 500,000. Therefore, it's becoming more tighter and tighter to carry out. It is also important to you as a businessman, when you when you want to do business, you have to carry out property transaction, to feel comfortable walking into Juma's office or walking into Apple properties and know that you are going to be handled As you walk along the streets of Kakamega, sometimes some place near a family farm, you walk up the road, you will find some 5 old men who are always selling land in this town. They are very good salesmen. But woe unto you if you give him your title and he disappears. Because there's nothing you can take him apart from anything a complaint. Honestly. So, engage a competent registered agent. Your rights are guaranteed because the board can discipline him, an agent. And you have recourse to various places to be protected against fraud. So, what I would urge you business people is deal with registered agents to avoid legal issues. Because if an unregistered agent defrauds you, there's very little you can do against him. Because you are dealing with somebody who is not recognized in law.
That looks very good for us today. Some of us, we might have been thinking of making such a huge mistake, right? And land in Western is so emotive. You wake up today and everyone is dreaming of making money and buying a land, building a house. So we move on, Mr. Charles, maybe to finalize on that question. Now that you've told us about this and credibility issue around it, what about those who have already made that mistake? What can they correct? What can they do to correct it?
I would urge anybody who wants to do this business of real property to learn, train, work under a registered agent, understand the law, so that you can get a license. It is extremely cheap. But for members of the public and the business, my pitch would be that protect yourself against the consequences of having the long consequences of having to recover your money or your land because you dealt with somebody who is not registered and is not qualified. And I know that there are a lot of them who have been in this for a long time. And therefore, you may, as a member of the public, you may not know who is qualified and not qualified. But the simple thing is, you can first you ask, are you registered? 2, you can confirm with the board whether the person is registered before you can give them the business.
That tells us that we must do a lot of due diligence before we engage in business, right? Now we move to the next one. Again, Mr. Brian, we have a lot of businesses here who have hired more casuals, and whenever the casuals do a mistake, make a mistake, we tell them to at least give us space and go back home. But afterwards, we realize that we are being called to labor court, being listened to, and asked to pay some fines here and there. What is this one thing the business is sitting here, employers whom you are seeing here right now, can do to avoid these issues of up and down in labor courts? What is the smallest thing they can do when hired so that they avoid such challenges?
That's a very good question. I think that is majorly what I've seen in terms of those labor disputes. Maybe the lack of understanding of whether you have a casual employee or under the law you have contractual employee. because how you engage with your casual laborer or your casual employee goes a long way in determining the kind of dispute you will have. So we normally have those two employees, if I may start off from there, the casual and the contractual. The contractual, obviously, you have engaged your employee, you have a contract. The contract says 3 years, 2 years. Ideally convert a casual laborer to an employee protected under the Employment Act without knowing. Why do I say so? Because under the Act, under the law, how they treat a casual laborer is someone you are engaging on a day-to-day basis and whom you are paying at the end of the day to show you have. Even though you have termed them as a casual laborer, that is a contractual employee. It's called conversion of a casual laborer into a contractual employee. Because by your very nature, you have engaged them on periodic terms. So it is important, one of the things I normally say, if you are intending to engage anyone as a casual laborer, be very clear. I am engaging you, Mr. ABC, to be doing this for this number of days. I'll be paying you this amount each and every day. And one of the most important safeguards for you to have is documentation. As an employer, the obligation on documentation is on you under the law. If you are saying this person was a casual laborer, you have to be showing this person was reporting on this particular day, this person was living at this day, and at the end of the day, I was paying him 500 shillings, and you have a record where he has signed off having been paid. So that when that person has a grievance, it is easy for you to essentially say, no, this was not an employee, it was a casual. That is number one. Number two, you also have to understand the nature of that casual labor. Because normally the advice we normally have, if you have someone you're engaging, you intend to engage, because the court says anyone that is engaged for something that cannot be finalized in 3 months, that cannot be a casual laborer. So what do you do? Is it important then you have fixed contracts, seasonal contracts that say, because this job we intend to do will be for this period of time, I'm only engaging you for these 3 months, and this is our understanding. So that it doesn't then shift to the aspect of a dispute where the court essentially says, this person is entitled to 12 months compensation, when there was never such an understanding from the onset. So understanding the nature of your employees and the nature of the task that needs to be done is the starting point. Have proper documentation of each and every individual that is working for you. When they came, when they left, how much they paid. So that when it essentially leads to a dispute, you are ensured. And then another thing, understand the dispute resolution mechanisms available to you. Not everything needs to be addressed in court. Some of you may be engaged once in a while by someone called a labor officer. The casual laborer, there's a process called conciliation. under the Act. And where you begin that process of conciliation, the court mandates you to finish it. Ile mnakaa kando, mnaongea, mnaelewana, kama mtaelewana, huyo labor officer anaandika report inasema parties could not reach an agreement. So that you do not escalate each and every dispute to becoming a court dispute. In terms of, if you don't want to engage a labor officer, you yourself can also consider some of the factors like engaging professional mediators, because some of those disputes, it's easy to deal with them from the onset before they crystallize and they become very major legal disputes that essentially then bog down your business, and you are essentially dealing with someone who you did not even intend to engage for more than 3 months, but because of the very nature of how you commence your relationship, you essentially in a mess.
Mr. Brain, you brought up an issue of alternative dispute resolution. That's the ADR. And that question goes on. Apart from just labor issues, we are again looking at business-to-business issues arising. And everyone will always rush to his or her lawyer and then head to the courts. And we find that most businesses are spending money at the courts to solve something they could have done with an ADR. What do you think, or what's your input on the same? And also I will welcome Mr. Kasamani to also add something on ADR, because it's something cutting across. Just tell us something. What is this law line puts on ADR compared to going the court process way? Karibu.
Okay, so alternative dispute resolution is there to protect you as a business. It is actually enshrined in law under Article 159 of our Constitution, where the court recognizes any alternative means you have used to resolve a dispute. It can be recognized by the court. It's important to know the ones which are available to you. As I've said, in terms of labor dispute, there is that part called conciliation under the Employment Act. But now there's the aspect of conciliation, which normally means you get someone to sit down with you, someone who can act as a conciliator between the two businesses, essentially. Maybe the pros of that would be, it is not technical, it is flexible, but still, for you to have it recognized in court, sometimes you also still have, for you to have that solution recognized in court, you still have to involve court at some point in time. What has come on to enforce that area is something called court-annexed mediation, where there's a very major dispute and you feel you're not comfortable just engaging any person within the business community, or if it's anyone provided by the chamber, but you feel you need someone who can address those issues, and that agreement can be codified into law. Court-annexed mediation is now a province that is very major. You notice in most courts, they are now opening court-annexed mediation registries. That is a program that is now being really pushed. The reason for that is, once you do a court-annexed mediation, there's usually an agreement, and that agreement is then recognized by the court. And it is important that once it is recognized by the court, it essentially means that is the order of the court, and it protects you. That is for court-annexed mediation. You can have the other aspect of mediation, where we have certified mediators whom you can involve in a dispute, but I would really maybe advise on using registered mediators, because anyone can say I'm a mediator, but then at the end of the day, you find that person doesn't have the requisite credentials to deal with your disputes. We have arbitration. We don't normally espouse that you go the arbitration way, because the aspect of arbitration is very time-consuming, it's very costly, it's very technical, and the final decision that emanates from an arbitrator is usually very hard for you to challenge. Whatever the arbitrator has said, for you to challenge it, maybe on appeal, it's not there. It's very limited. So there are those elements of ADR that are really important. I've kind of mentioned a few: conciliation, mediation, court-annexed mediation, arbitration. What I would advise in any kind of engagement you're having business to business, in your contracts, have those terms in your contracts. That is the best starting point. because it protects you from someone if you have agreed you do mediation or conciliation or even arbitration in your contract. It binds you, the two entities, to deal with that from that point of view, so that you do not have to rush to court as the first instance. So it usually begins in the contractual stage of how you're engaging, because I think if you're dealing business to business, it's good to have it on paper, because any kind of engagement under the Contract Act is you have Section 3, you have to have it codified. So that when someone moves to court, you can easily challenge us to say, no, our dispute was to be resolved in this manner. And the court will take you back. The court will say, this matter, the court doesn't have jurisdiction to deal with this matter because parties envisaged how to deal with their disputes. So it is important to maybe understand the different elements. I don't know whether I can be able to break down each one of them, but we have quite a number of ADR mechanisms that essentially protect you from having to address each and every issue in court, essentially, which, as you have said, even though we are advocates, sometimes you tell your clients, do you really think you need to go this route, or do you need to have a sit down, understand the dispute, come to an understanding without us having to escalate it?
That's good. And as Mr. Kasaman also adds his weight on the same note, you can also tell us, should I tag along my lawyer when I'm going for an ADR, or I go alone?
You are in business to make money, not to litigate. If you can, avoid lawyers. Lawyers are very expensive. Litigation is very expensive. And the outcome of litigation is that there's a winner and there's a loser. So you kill the aspect of reconciliation and doing business with the same person any other time. So my advice to you as business people, you can't avoid conflicts arising, but find the cheapest and the most efficient ways of resolving those disputes. And like my colleague says, the courts encourage alternative dispute resolution. You can get an arbitrator, you can get a conciliator, and there are many ways that you can solve problems without necessarily running to court. Courts are expensive. I don't encourage any businessman to think about court if they can.
That's very nice to put it, right? So, plenary, members, we can do 2 questions and then final administration. Do you have any questions around? Please, you can have this mic from this end. We can pose 2 questions to our panelists. Yes, we have 1 question here from Mr. Edward Wambani, who is also the chair of the Kakamega County Social County CSO, sir. Thank you. Karibu, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. My question goes to someone. He was talking about following the professionals in property when you are dealing with property. But my question is this: many are times when those professionals, they are very expensive. They are just like lawyers. So you'll find it is even cheaper to use that Mzee you are talking about who stands there than to use those professionals. Because the only risk is that if they can disappear with your documents, now it will be another issue. But it's still the same anyway. But the thing is that that fee should be high. Thank you.
And another question before we come to the panelists. There's another one here.
Thank you. Maybe mine is not a question, but a point of inquiry. So when we talk about these mediator officers, we have, they have an office, like labor officers will go to the labor office. And these mediators, where do we find them?
Where do we find the mediators, and those who can help us in the ADR process. Can you have the mic?
I'll take the first one, and I'll tell you that cheap can be very expensive. There is no way as a businessman you would sit there and think of cutting corners, saving 50 shillings, because you think that a professional is expensive. Try building a house without an architect, without an engineer, and you will know the consequences. Now, real property is regulated. There is a scale, just like there is a scale for your lawyer. If you go to your lawyer or to the estate agent and you enter an agreement outside the act, outside the remuneration order, that is up to you. But ask him, how do you charge? Show me your scales. And he has a duty to explain to you why he's charging you 50,000 for sending your land, or I can take your 2,000 shillings and disappear. But it's up to you. So, as you do business, you must factor in the element of cost. Everything you do has a cost. Just like you pay rent, you know that there's a cost of transporting your merchandise from Nairobi or Mombasa to Kakamega. Those are costs. So, when you embark on disposing of property or having your property managed well, there's a cost. There's the minimum scale, there's the negotiated scale, but whoever you are dealing with has a duty to inform you what the cost is. If you are uncomfortable, walk to the next shop. There are many matatus in town.
That's very good.
Maybe if I may also point to that, Mr. Ambani. I think it also depends as to the level of interaction you want with these experts as to assist you in this transaction. If you, as a business, have a quota in terms of saying this is how much we have budgeted for this transaction, you can essentially even engage an advocate just for the purpose of guiding you as to what is important for you to consider. Because I would think if you're transacting in real estate, number one, there is no transaction in land that can be enforced that is verbal. None. Mko mmeongea wiki mbili mmeelewana, kama amjeza, if you do not have it codified under a contract, that contract cannot be enforced. So let's say, for example, you meet someone, mmeongea, mmempatia pesa, he has refused to transfer the property to you. You cannot enforce it. That is number one. So essentially there's an element where in the preparation of your contract, you need an assistant. I've had instances where even in my own relatives from our country, where they have thought, let us do a contract on handwritten contract. But when it comes to enforcing those terms, some of them are unlawful in the first place. So it is important in any transaction. It doesn't mean that you have to go the full hog in terms of involving a real estate agent as it may be. But it is very, very important you get that advice from the outset in terms of what terms are important, have it codified into a document so that whatever transactions emanate from there, you can be able to safeguard your business. So as he says, cheap is very expensive, but it can mean you just have an engagement. It doesn't mean if Mr. Kasomani is very expensive, come to Mr. Manjari. He will tell you maybe this is the best way we can assist you. But we have seen in land, and you have seen even the decisions. I'm sorry, I'm going a bit over because I'm a bit maybe sensitive on this. Because if you have seen even the decisions that are coming out from the Supreme Court, if you do not do your due diligence properly now on any land transaction, you will not have any land, as it may be. It is not the mere fact of just doing a search nowadays, if I may put it. You have to now go even behind the curtain, do historical searches, get to know all the factors pertaining to that transaction. Because the Supreme Court has said, you just doing a normal, even for the banks and the commercial kind of businesses we are advising, we are telling them you cannot do the run of the mill things anymore. That we did a search, the search was, the property was listed in Mr. Ambani's name, we were comfortable. What if Mr. Ambani got that property? It was public land. The court has said you cannot transact in public land. You can never be a bona fide purchaser of some property that was public land. So you have to involve an expert in terms of giving you the comfortability of saying, you have a good agreement, please proceed with this. So it's just a matter of the nature of what transaction you're doing at to what level, and you can get that guidance. To the question as to the mediators, we have very many entities that now have mediators. There are many schools that are training mediators. As I've said, it depends as to the level of the dispute that you have. You find even advocates, even for me, I'm a certified mediator. So if you come to our office and say, I need a mediator, we will tell you, okay, we have this individual, or we'll give you options. We have 2, 3. Whom do you think, who are you comfortable running with? So you have very many advocates now, also mediators. You have very many professional bodies. There's very many schools that are training mediators. And we normally advise our clients, if you want to get a mediator, an independent mediator, let's say for example, universities like Strathmore, Penny, have trained their training mediators. You normally just write to them. They'll give you a list of mediators, depending on the dispute you have. Because sometimes it's also good to have a mediator in that field who understands that field. So there are very many, most of our universities, most of our certain colleges nowadays have trained mediators. But like I've said, if you want something that can be now enforced in court, even the courts have lists of mediators. If you go ukienda hapa Kakamega Kuchini, watakupatia their certified list of mediators whom you can now engage in terms of the dispute that you're going to have.
That's very good, Mr. Brian. We can just hold the mic and pass it to Mr. Samani so that he can give us a parting shot. And in your parting shot, tell us something about the introduction of financial reporting centers, issues of ERP, introducing issues of accounting, satisfied accounting, something like that, related to all real estate managers or owners or whoever are implementing those. And then from there, we'll go to Mr. Brian to also give us his parting shot in terms of levels. Thank you.
Can you hear me? There have been a lot of developments in Kenya because we are part of the global economy. When the Somalis started hijacking ships and bringing their money into Kenya, and when terrorism became a business, the Americans and the British and Europe said, no, there must be some morality in business. With the result now, like as an estate agent or as a property manager or as a businessman, you will find that there are obligations imposed on you by the law to know your customer. This was implemented by the banks quite a while ago, but it is now being escalated to almost every other business. Such that when a client, customer walks into your office or shop and he's carrying 50 million cash, you ask you got this money? Cash. You want to buy underwear material worth 30 million cash. Why aren't you trading within the established business conduits? So, there are now laws that it's compulsory as an estate agent, as a property manager, that when a customer comes and tells you, I am buying that Potecha Plaza, you will want to know who he is. And now you have an obligation to know him well. So you have two obligations under the Data Protection Act and under the Financial Reporting Act. You must know him, and if you think that the source of his money is suspicious, maybe ameuza bangi, ameaccumulate pesa, the law now imposes on you a duty to report. I know it doesn't sound very practical because you are in business to make money. But that is the law. And the law is for us to obey. So, all estate agents are now registered compulsorily with the Financial Reporting Authority. If you think, and I think also the lawyers, now we have a duty to report anybody who seems to be flashing money. Comes to you, says, I want to buy. Ask him, okay, will you do an RTGS? He tells you, no. I have a boot, in my boot there is money. Handle that money, you will get your commission, but it will catch up. One day, you will be called upon to explain why you didn't report. Because no serious businessman walks around with 30 million shillings in the boot of his car. So, we have a duty, and it is onerous upon us as professional lawyers, estate agents, property managers, but that is the law, so we obey. Come to me, I will ask you nasty questions, how you got your money, what do you do with it? You will have to give me all your details, your ID card, your PIN. If you don't like it, try somebody else. Because I'm not going to go to jail for you.
That looks good. Thank you. You can pass the mic to Mr. Brad. Now your party shot.
Maybe my parting shot, not on that, on employment and labor. Like I've said, employment and labor disputes are becoming too many. You will notice the nature of the number of disputes, even here in Kakamega, on very, very minor issues, which can be resolved in a very kind of timely manner. They're becoming too much. It's just important for you, you as the business people of Kakamega, to understand, first of all, the laws that affect you, to understand how the obligations are imposed. It is just you and 3 employees. If you decide to dismiss that individual without giving them what God says due course, it may just be 2 of you, but will still be found at fault. Well, the reason I say that is the law provides a very simple, elaborate procedure for you to show that this was my dispute with this employee. I gave him a notice to show cause to explain what he did. I gave him an opportunity to respond. Actually, even gave him an opportunity to come and explain himself orally. There was a witness. I was not satisfied with his explanation. I proceeded to dismiss him. In such a claim, will be found completely having acted lawfully. But if you wake up in the morning and say 1, 2, 3, leave, you're exposing yourself. as a casual laborer because of the nature of the engagement you have. I think recently there's a casual laborer who was earning 1,000 Kenya shilling, but he was dismissed. I'll have to get that case. In the end, in terms of his dismissal, he was paid 500,000 Kenya shilling because of the process of how he was dismissed. What saying you didn't give this person notice? This person was unfairly dismissed. You are saying this person was a casual laborer. You have not given us any documents. So this person had worked for you from this one. In this instance, the gentleman had worked from 2009 to 2014. As I've said, that is not a casual laborer. And if you're going to engage him for a longer period of time, what do you do? As I've talked about. So it's, and you can see an award of 500,000 Kenya shilling for someone maybe you are paying on the higher side, maybe 3,000 per week, really goes into your business. It will really affect your business. So it is very important. We understand the labor laws that are there. There are other labor laws in terms of how the safety of the premises of your business. There's OSHA, Occupational Safety Health Act. There's WIBA, where it protects employees who have been injured or gotten sick while in business. There's obligations upon you as businesses to get a WIBA insurance. So as you scale up and as you get more employees into your business, just have to know that the nature of the employees and how you interact with them also will shift, and it will be very important for you to have a breakdown, have an idea as to how you safeguard your business.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brent. Yes.
I'll just give you a hint. There's something called human resource company. If you can't manage your employees, source them, you will avoid all those other disputes. The human resource company will deal with that shit.
Wow, that's a very good advice from Mr. Charles Kasamani, MP Properties, and Kasamani and Advocates. And then we also got some insights from Mr. Brian Mashira from Kelemoni and Advocates. And that marks the end of session, discussion. Let's clap for them as they take back their seats. Asante sana. Asante sana. So I want to welcome Praise to help me move the 2 seats so that we can do 3 speeches. And then after the 3 speeches, we go back to another panel discussion. And the next 3 speeches, we have IG Sako, who is also our sponsor of this event. IG Sako, who is also a sponsor of this event. And also we have Metropole CRB Limited. So they'll be here. You can come, please. Yeah, so we want to hear from IGSA. Mr. Kasamani has told us, if someone carries 50 million to your shop, you must be surprised. Now, Mr. Kevin Ogoge from IGSA will tell us how we bank this money, and also how we fund our businesses in 2026. Mr. Kevin Ogoge, Karibu. So we give a clap for Mr. Kevin as he comes. Karibu.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Jambo. Are we good? I want to appreciate the first panelist in the session. I believe it has been so exciting. Sino kweli. Niliona one of the attendees really surprised when it came to matters money. And that's where the rubber meets the road, because I can tell you the legal profession that have been here, without money you cannot even talk to them. So I'm here from IG Sako. My name is Ombuge Kevin, in charge of marketing. And as all we know, we live because of money. Without money, there's no need of us sitting here. And that's why IG Sako is here to highlight and encourage all of us so that we can have a streamlined way of transacting our money. We are business people, we are the business family from the Kakamega County. So how do we transact? How do we intend to handle our cash flows? So basically, I'll give a brief. I believe all of us know IG Sacco. Wangapi wanajua IG Sacco? At least 50%. Nani ana bank account hapa? Naweza msaidia leo. Asitembee na pesa kwa benki. You might be having a real estate and also you don't have a bank account, you don't know where to keep your money. So I believe everybody has transacted. And how the economy is growing, the money economy is really transforming. Whereby you may find even we don't want the traditional banking model. On your smartphone, you are already transacting in terms of having a bank. So even if you don't report and you are transacting on M-Pesa, already you are what is being seen. So we need to be very keen as business people how we are transacting with our money. At the moment that customer just walking to your shop and sending that cash through PayBill, you are already being reported. That's why they will come and tell you we are aware. You received 30 million yesterday. Who told them? Nobody. But now the technology bit that we are going in is already exposing us as business people. And we should not be afraid. What we need to embrace the technology and align it to our business cycle. So as invest and grow under the financial industry, we are a SACCO, savings and credit. And I believe as business people, those two aspects are the ones that can guide us. Before you are called an investor, before you are called a business person, you at one point you started with asset. True or false? Whether you are a millionaire today in this house, you must have a starting point that in the year 2020, in the year 2010, I had a capital of 10 shillings. And today, I have an investment of 50 million. So that's the journey, and that's the transition of cash flow. So we bring to you, and we want to present to you IG Sacco as a medium, whereby you can start your journey to sell. Because if you get it correctly at the start point of saving, I can assure you the curve of investment and management of your investment will be clear. So as we end the year and plan for next year, we need to evaluate our businesses and ask ourselves, as we've traded, as we've done business with our clients, what have I saved out of my business? We've been discussing about the commissions the legal profession have been telling us. The profits that we earn from our businesses, where do we take them? How are we reinvesting this cash that we're getting? I don't know if we understand the network of our business. IG Sacco currently, our asset base stands at 15 billion. Are we sure? As business people from this region, do we trust that IG Sacco has an asset base of 15 billion? Billion. Are we aware? Let me rephrase the statement. Are we aware that the environment we are trading in, we have a partner around us with over 15 billion asset base? I remember last year when we had this forum, I did a presentation and invited. I remember I asked business people in Kakamega, kindly find time and come and interact with us and just listen and understand that if we have a small organization neighboring your business and it's managing 15 billion, mbona yako biashara yako ni 30 million inakusumbua mpaka twende tutafute vijeta? Najaribu kunyang'anya wakili kazi. Come and do business with well-established organization so that you can have a smooth business operation with your cash. Because if money becomes idle, I can assure you, you'll end up kuzunguka nayo kwa boot zenye wakili amesema 30 million natafuta kununua plot Kakamega town, na unakutana na wale wazee wakili alisema, and they are good, I can assure you. When you give them the 2,000, they bring it in a sack. But you are 30 million of investment, umemwachia kwa street. Why can't we do our transaction through a streamlined process? So I'm here to encourage all of us. As IG Sacco, we offer a platform to all, open to all members of the public, whereby they can come. We shall give them a savings platform, whereby they can channel all their resources, and the goodness and the benefit of a savings and credit organization, that your money that you are trading in the Sacco is not just idling. It's not that the 30,000 in your boot you are walking around with trying to get an investment. That cash is still doing business on your behalf. So what you have invested in terms of your savings, at the end of the year, when this Sacco performs, you are able to get a rebate in terms of dividends and interest on what you have saved. Are we together to that point? And I'm aware while we are in business, we are in business also to grow. And that's why we come in and now offer you a credit solution. Our credit model is, we shall give you what you've saved. I want us to connect the dots. We shall give you what you've saved. So if you are here and you come to IG today and you tell us, my business is able to pay a loan of 30 million, but I don't want to be a member. That's unaona niko na hii nyumba hapo katikati ya town. Si mnanijua vizuri. Wakili alisema know your customer. Sisi tutakusumbua zaidi. I'm in charge of marketing and I know I've tried to interact with a few business people to join the Sacco. We'll find tunakosanianga tu hapo mahali pa KYC. They say the Sacco has tedious process. Wakili, they don't want to disclose those things. They want somewhere where they walk, open an account without being asked questions. They do their business. But Wakil has given us a closing remark. At the end of the day, even if it will take 50 years, a question will come. So, as we onboard you, we must understand you. As I'm giving you a loan, you cannot just walk to IG Sacco and you tell me, I can give you 30 million. Because you can pay. I'll ask you what have you invested for you to get the 30 million. And in IG Sacco, we want to promise you that if you give me 10 shillings as your savings, I'm able to give you times 5 what you saved. Is that not a good deal for a business person? So if you give me 10 million, if you come to for credit, we discuss what? 50 million. It may look like it's not a reality, but I can assure you, those who understand the Sacco model, they are enjoying these fruits. And how can we do this? Let me say you have a real estate, you have units, rental units, your tenants are paying rent. Why can't you approach IG Sacco? Your tenants to be channeling their rent directly via pay bill and say via the technology called environment. When that rent comes to your IG through the pay bill, you will instruct us take this amount to go towards my savings, and the remaining cash remains on your ordinary account where you can transact through the mobile banking, mobile app. You've already run the risk of handling cash in your hands. You have a steady cash flow management. You can get a statement, you can analyze your business and know, from January, I received from tenant X this amount. By a click of a button through your mobile phone, you can get those statements. So that's what the concept I'm trying to bring across, that when you come to IG Sacco, we are able to have tailor-made solution to you as the business community to ensure that you achieve your core objective. I understand and I believe our core objective as business people is to make profit. Sina ukweli. Kuna mtu anaamka hapa asubuhi kufungua biashara yake aseme tu ukasho na kiendelea hapa pesa yangu hiyo 50 itapotea. So unaamka asubuhi wewe unashukuru na mwambia hata sikutaki, hakuna kazi. The cash will takes you back to court, you will pay him for the entire 12 months that he has not worked. So let us learn to have streamlined processes, especially when it touches matters finance. So I will not tire you much, but that is the cycle of IG Circle. We give you a platform to save. We shall give you a platform to do your investments. Maybe you've sold your estate, you have lump sum, the 30 million. You can come to us. We shall give you a fixed deposit. We negotiate with you a rate, and that cash earns you interest. Are we together? But you see that cash is being tracked. As I get your money, I'm also reporting to the regulator that my customer X have done business X. Before you bank with me something exceeding 999, you must fill a declaration. Tuko sawa, si tunafanyanga na bank together. When you withdraw above 1 million, you must declare. So let us be prepared as the business industry and ensure we do that. Maybe an emerging issue as I wind up, we need to understand also how the lending model is changing. I know most of the business, mmesikia ukweli wakisema wajue IG Circle. So I can believe 95% of business people in IG Circle in Kakamega hawako kwa sana. That one I'm very confident. They do business elsewhere. But the day you get a secret, and I can request the chambers to, we can do a benchmark. Let us go to Central Kenya and benchmark. You can invite the chambers here, Central, twende tukae mkutano yao na biashara, usikie pesa yao inafikianga wapi. Those people are in circles. And even if you are afraid of IG Circle as business people, why can't you form a circle? Is it not an idea?
No, okay. Kupeleka 2 million utasema.
Yes.
Kuambia umepeleka wapi 2 million?
Because they are talking the same language, and I'm coming back to us. If you know we are here, hamtaki kuongea. Simuju tushikane mikono, tuweke imani yetu pamoja. We have the strength of bargaining. So unataka kuongelea, unabaki na milioni yako moja, unatembea peke yako. Wale wenye waongei wamekuja pamoja 20 na milioni moja, they have 20 million. If they want to bargain, wakitaka kuleta mzigo kutoka port, yako itabaki au itakuja asubuhi. You must think, you must be disrupted as business people in Kakamega for us to grow this economy. So if you are aware, under the CBK, there's a new lending model that is coming up. I hope the chambers will be able to enlighten us in future forums. You are aware right now, the way you've been getting your credit facility is not going to be the same. Because right now CBK and banks, and have done the notices already in the dailies, they are saying that doing their credit on risk-based lending. It means they look at Kevin Ombuge and assess this Kevin Ombuge. How do you look? They get the margin of CBK and then they put a margin based on your risk. So we have sector risks. Like if it is property, there are risks that are related to the property industry. If it is the education sector, we have this aligned to the education industry. Like I know the education industry will normally negotiate and tell the financial institution that during school holidays I may not be able to pay because I'm not in business. It's good, that is now a risk. That risk will be added on your principal loan. Thank you for that insight. I appreciate for this forum, and I urge all of us, kindly feel free to interact with us. Maybe if allowed, I can share my number, 0706 802 820. Wale wanapenda Airtel 0751 802 820. My name is Ombuge Kevin, marketing manager IG Circle. Karibuni, tuko pia sisi na property kubwa hapo, tuko na space, tunatafuta wateja. So kama ni mwana biashara, naona mahali pa kufanyia biashara, you can come, we negotiate with you something at a very affordable rate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kevin Ombuge from IG Circle. Invest and grow. So are we going to invest and grow? Is that a good insight for us? Asante sana. Another round of applause for him. So we are going to have two more gentlemen to speak to us, and then from there we go do another panel discussion, the last one, as we move to the end of this meeting. Now, the next person to speak to us is the chairperson of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FCPO Wiki Bisu, and also the president of the Lions Club of Kakamega, and also is a certified tax consultant, and also a managing director of the Tax Credit Consulting, Digital School Academy, and also the boss of the business community in Kakamega. After he has spoken to us, he will welcome Mr. Simon Koko, who is also the managing director of the CRB, Creative Reference Brew Limited. So with that, let's have applause as we welcome our chairman, FCPO Bisu, to talk to us. Karibu chairman. Karibu.
Thank you, Peter, CEO of the Kenya Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Good morning. Mko sawa?
Yes, sir.
Sichukue hii nafasi usalimie yule aliyemwambia yeye ni bora kuliko wewe. Nani wamesikia? Nimesema nini? Chukua nafasi yako. See, he has just been here saying that you need to shake each other. And you need to show that your money can work as a team. So, chukua tu nafasi yako usalimie yule aliyemwambia yeye ni bora kuliko. Thank you very much. Yeah, and the message was saying here, 15 years ago when I was beginning my farm in Kakamega, by then, the station manager of KRA, was called Agnes Mbungo from Mail, called me in her office, and it took 2 hours to lecture me. And he lectured me because Ozaka said that when you come to Kakamega, his commissioner general, when he's coming to Kakamega, by then, Kakamega used to have those taxis that when you enter in, you are able to see her on the ground, right? And you could actually travel in a taxi where you can actually see how you are moving on the ground. And she could actually look at it, and she was telling me that whenever the commissioner comes, she has to get a taxi in Kisumu, and she has to ensure that the commissioner sleeps in Kisumu. Because there were no hotel facility that could actually host a commissioner general. And he was actually telling me that opposite watch. Because he knew I was from Kakamega, and whatever he just said is because he was actually saying that in Kakamega, mtu anasema mimi ni boss yangu. So we would rather run a kiosk than coming together to make a supermarket. And he would rather use this pickup to go to Kisumu, so that you have 5 pickups driving to Kisumu. Yet one pickup they can come together and consolidate and buy those particular, whatever they want to do in Kisumu. They reduce the price to the people of Kakamega and be able to move as a simple form of cooperative. So when you start collaborating before you can actually start down and say that you can run a cooperative. Our role as a business community is growing your business together. You can't grow it alone. You must grow with your neighbor. Allow me also to share with you this particular scenario. It's a true story. It's a reality that happened. There are 2 neighbors. There were 2 neighbors in a place called Shiunzu. One neighbor was rearing chicken. The other one likes eating chicken. So these 2 neighbors will actually every Friday, Saturday, there's a market in Lubao. So they will call a boda guy, carry them to Lubao. One is going to buy chicken, The other is again going to sell the chicken. Yet they were neighbors. So they will sell the chicken to a broker. The broker will make money from one of the neighbors. They pay the boda, and at the end of the period, the value chain of those two neighbors was actually the chicken is 400. The boda will buy, the broker will buy from the farmer, who was a neighbor, at 350 and makes Facebook. And this particular broker will sell it at 450 and make 50 bucks from the other neighbor. This other neighbor will use 50 shillings to go to Lubao. The other one also will use 50 bucks to go to Lubao. So these two neighbors have lost how much money? 50-50, that's 100 to the boda. 50-50 to the broker, that's 100. These two neighbors, because of their decision not to speak to each other, they have actually paid their cost of ignorance by losing 200 within that set. Now, what am I saying? Does it happen? Most of neighbors here don't know what the other neighbor is doing. And I say, but in the business community, there's nothing like it. The person who is your customer could be your next neighbor. I always say that when I take up my flight, the person who sits next to me, I always know that that guy could be my customer, or I can buy something from that other person. So we always have an engagement. And as a business community, today, especially the business community from Kakamega County, which is the heart of the Western region. I always say that the de facto Western region headquarters is here. So if you are thinking of investing in another place without here, then you are lost. Hello? If you want us to gauge you, you must have a plaza within Kakamega. If you have any other places, you say, and you are not in Kakamega, then we will not gauge you. Are we together? Kakamega, that we are the headquarters, and we are the one who gave birth to all other counties within the Western region. So now you must always work like that, and the business community, we must have that particular scenario, and we work in that direction. When I took over the chamber, I'm actually very happy because I'm actually in my last flight to prepare to hand over to the next leader. But I'm actually happy for the business community, and I want to thank you having given me a chance to be the chairman of the chamber. You can clap for yourself. No. And for me, it is very natural. I always start grooming people who take over. So well, no one is a god. You can drop a guy. The other person should be ready to take up your position. So, business community, you need to have what we call it that succession. Don't imagine that you'll always be there forever. In your business, prepare your children, prepare your other colleagues to be able to support you, to support the business when you're not there. So this is actually the umbrella of the chamber. We actually, our services, most of them is business advocacy. We have actually done a lot of KRA training. You have already done what you call, whenever you have an issue with the county government, you have an issue with any regulator, the chamber will always come in to support you where you don't have knowledge. And in the event you have actually been got on the wrong side, and it was a mistake you did not know, that is why the number of the CEO is always available. Please call the CEO. Don't close your business. Call the CEO will always assist you. The other thing is we do education and training. Like we are here, you are getting a lot of insight on what is changing. And we are happy that you came today. Then we have what we call business promotion. These are platforms that we promote businesses. We have also a process whereby chamber facilitates exports. We are the ones who give what we call certificate of origin. So if you want to export any goods, please check with our CEO He will assist you on the area you get documentation to ensure that you export what you want to export. And then we do what we call business advisory, which is here, and then also make what we call trade promotion. There are trade promotion in China, there are trade promotion in Guangzhou, there are trade promotion in US, UK. We always have that platform, and whenever you see, for those ones who are on our platform, we always announce that particular event. But in the event you are not in the platform of businesses, don't leave here before you give your number, because I would like to see how to put you on that platform. In that platform, we also have a time where it is what you call a market day, where you can tell us what you deal in. Simple. A market day, you tell us when you have chicken. And in that market day, there is actually a person who might actually acquire those chicken that time. So we always give that particular scenario where there's a day or two where the CEO gives what we call a market day. So with those many remarks, I wanted just to say that I would like just to thank our sponsors, IG, and our sponsors, Metropole, for what you have actually given and actually signing up with Kakamega. You know, he has actually left, but I want to just tell him that now he has said that he's worth 15 billion. Amesema yeye lakini alisahau kuniletea branding. He was supposed to brand here and take control. So quick. So in the next, it's the award of January. Please give IG Sacco the opportunity to be the soul. Situpige IG Mako. In our next day, we want that to grow. If you come and you tell us that we don't know you, like they told that we don't know what they do, we'd like to partner with the IG, because they say that they are also having something to grow with the business. And the chamber is, so if the IG is in Kakamega, the de facto who will dominate our event must be the IG side. Simple. See, that is the, first of all, growing the home group. Because they have, I know they have employed a lot of people also. So to do that, I'm actually just instructing my CEO in the next business event we shall have in January. IG Sacco should be given the capability to be able to demonstrate that they have the capacity to be able to match any bank. And for those ones who do not know that equity began also as a start. And this could be our equity going forward. And let us see if it can become equity, growing all over Kenya and even extending to other regions. And as they do that, they will say this is a Kakamega growth. Correct? Are we together on that? So with those many remarks, I want us to take this opportunity to welcome my senior, Honorable Samuel Okoko, the MD Metropole, and I've known him for many years. And I know this particular event. Usiniulize mambo ya CRB. Mkitaka mambo ya CRB sasa huyo ndio anakuja. Yeye ndio ako na portal, sio? Ya CRB. If you have questions, I know you have a lot of questions. Please let us give our hands, put our hands as we welcome him.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Morning again. Morning. You are happy to be here? Yes. Thank you, FCPA, for welcoming me. Thank you, KNCCI, for the opportunity to interact with the business community in Kakamega. I also come from Kakamega, from Quisero sub-county. I have also worked here in Kakamega while I was working for Kenya Commercial Bank. So my profession can easily be described as banking. It's an interesting thing when you have an opportunity to speak to business people based on what we do as an organization. So I'll probably give you a 1-minute rundown on what is the organization of Metro. Now, Metropole Corporation is a business information company. It was established in Kenya in 1996, and it has 4 lines of business. The first line of business is it runs a credit reference bureau. And I'll explain what a credit reference bureau does. So, Metropole is licensed as a credit reference bureau in Kenya and Uganda. Metropole also provides credit rating services. And I'll also explain at some point what those are. And Metropole is licensed in Kenya and Rwanda as a credit rating agency. Metropole also does business information reports, which help business people to evaluate the credit worthiness of the customers that they do interact with, whether local or international. If you wanted to export to an overseas company, but you don't know who they are, we can give you a report on who they are and what they do. You heard Mr. Kasamani talking about knowing your customer. It's a very important aspect of business, that you need to know who exactly it is you're dealing with. The 4th line of business we do is debt collection. So we help businesses recover money you sold on credit and you haven't been paid, and therefore we can help you to recover that money. So that's the business that we do. Now, straight to the focus of today. When you set up a business, you have a product that you want to put to the market, and you set up a business and you register that business. Again, you had our legal team talking about the need to register your business, because then if you register as a limited company, then it cushions you from the activities that you do and the activities that that business does. So, an important aspect of what you need is capital. Capital will enable you to buy the assets that you require to conduct the business, and the working capital that you require to pay salaries, pay electricity, and things like that. Where does that initial money come from? That money could come from your savings. So, to finance a business, you have 2 types of financing modules. You can either finance it with equity, or you can finance it with debt. You borrow. If you start a business, if your first line of financing is debt, then you obviously have started with a problem. Particularly if it's a new business. In the sense that when you borrow, lenders will want you to start repaying the money almost immediately. But as a new business, you have not yet established a good customer base. So by the time customers get to know you and start buying your things for cash flows to flow, your loan repayments will already have gone into problem. So, yes, you can start business by using debt, but it is always a very challenging form of business finance. So you'll find that most businesses are financed by equity. Equity can come from your savings, or you issue shares to people who contribute money to give you the capital that you require. And that, the two, form what you call the capital structure of your business. Going forward, as your business grows, it will be growing in terms of equity, and it will be probably growing in terms of debt if you're borrowing. Now, how does it grow? in form of equity. When you make profits and you put reserves, your equity base keeps going up. When your equity base keeps going up, your business becomes stronger and you can pay dividends. If you have good cash flows, you will be able to repay the loan that you took, and therefore you can take advantage of business opportunities in your environment. So understanding how to use equity and debt to finance your business is one of the things that every business person is required to know. When do I borrow? What am I borrowing for? Or when do I get equity? And who am I going to get that equity from? Very, very important point to enable your business to become sustainable. Now, I want to focus on debt, because debt is the most common form of financing that most businesses will use. Now, you as a borrower, you will have concerns about how to access debt. First, you're asking, where is the money that I need? Who is the lender? Can I actually access that amount? At what price will I access that money? And on what terms will I get that money? Those are questions that you will always ask yourself as you contemplate going to a lender to borrow money. Do remember that if it is a business loan, then it must make sense, in the sense that the interest, the price that you pay for this money must be covered by the profits that you make. Because if you're paying interest, say, of 20%, and your net profit margins are 5%, obviously all your money is going into debt service. So you will end up not making any money, because the lenders are taking all that money in form of interest. So those things are critical questions that you need to ask when you are considering to borrow. But the lender is also asking themselves a question. They are saying, if I give him this loan, will they pay me back at all? Because remember, the lender's business, that money that they are lending to you, part of it is their principal. They are also invested money. So they do not want to lose their capital. So the question they keep asking, if I lend money to this business, will they pay me back? That's the first question. The second question is that, will they pay me back on time? Because you agree for every loan, can be monthly, can be weekly, can be half yearly. So will you actually pay back on time? And the lender is saying, will I make a profit? Because they are in business to make a profit. So those are the lender's concerns. And these are your concerns. There is an additional concern from the lender to say, if you default on the loan, can they recover? How will they actually recover that money? So you will find that in the process of the lender assessing your credit worthiness, they are interested in getting answers to this question. And because they may not be very sure that you will actually pay them back, lenders will always ask for collateral, which is an asset that you provide to support your borrowing. And that asset is what we call collateral. So lenders will always ask for collateral. If you don't have collateral, then they will not give you money. When I was working here as a branch manager, and somebody was a very good quality customer at those days, part of what I noticed here is that the people who come from here, in proportion to the people who had come in Kakamega to do business, the people who had come to do business in Kakamega were borrowing more than the people who live in Kakamega. So you'll find that access to credit was more open to people who are coming to look for opportunities in Kakamega. It is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because when they come, those opportunities create employment, they give products, and those products are sold. But the local people were not taking advantage of the banks that were here to lend out money to them. And so I said, why is it so? And I was told local people fear that when they borrow and pledge their land as collateral, the land will be sold. But they don't want those loans. And so there was little progress from a business point of view as far as our own people are concerned. That was in 1992. Today, in the Credit Reference Bureau, when I look at the statistics of borrowers across the country, Kakamega has the lowest borrowing compared to other counties. Yeah? And the rate of default is slightly higher. So lower borrowings and slightly higher default. What does that mean? What does that mean? Now, I'll tell you what a Credit Reference Bureau does. Credit Reference Bureaus are institutions that support lenders to answer these questions. When you have a Credit Reference Bureau, when a bank gives you a loan, that record comes to the Credit Reference Bureau. So you go to KCB, you take a loan, the record comes to the Credit Reference Bureau. You go to Cooperative Bank, you take a loan, that record comes to the Credit Reference Bureau. You go to ABSA, you take a loan, that record comes to the Credit Reference Bureau. You go to IG, and IG is our very big customer. You take a loan from there, that record comes into the Credit Reference Bureau. So the Credit Reference Bureau itemizes the loans that you have taken from lenders who are participating in that mechanism. That profile will show how you are repaying those loans. Yeah? That profile will show how you are repaying those loans. The benefits that you get, that if these loans are if the profile shows that you are repaying these loans, that part of collateral, the one that banks were saying, give us collateral, banks begin to relax and say, for this customer who is borrowing and repaying, we are not going to ask them for their title deed. We are going to use their behavior as support for their borrowing. So the first thing the Credit Reference Bureau does is to remove the collateral. Now that collateral has been removed, it opens the door for most people to get loans. Because banks are no longer demanding for collateral. And that is why today, the long and short of it, is that you can be able to get a loan via your mobile phone. When you go to your mobile phone and you bonyeza Fuliza, you bonyeza M-Shwari or KCB M-Pesa, and you get that money given to you onto the phone, it is because two things. That there is an entity behind there that is giving a profile of how you borrow and pay. Then number two, that banks have agreed that when you borrow and pay, they will not ask for additional collateral. They will use that record to give you more money. And so today, as business people, the conditions we used to see a long time ago to restrict the doors for access to credit
have since been opened. Today you can access credit and unsecured credit over mobile channels, over simple applications to banks, and the most important thing that is supporting your borrowing is your record in the Credit Reference Bureau. So what does the Credit Reference Bureau do other than that? That record that keeps your borrowing profile is what gives out the credit history. And that credit history is used to assess your credit worthiness. We go a step further. Because remember, part of the question we are asking is, what price are you going to get that money at? What interest rate? That profile is then used to calculate a credit score. And a credit score is a measure of your credit worthiness. And like our friend from IG said, things now have changed in this country. The interest rate you are going to pay is going to depend on your credit score. A credit score runs from 200 to 900. 900 is excellent. Hakuna kidonda, huyo atalipa. 200 is trouble. This one has default history. Atakuwa na shida ya kulipa. So if you go to the Credit Reference Bureau today, and you can test it, if you dial *433#, you will be able to see your credit report and your credit score. So if you dial and you see what your credit score is, you know that that score is the one that is going to be used to determine the interest rate that you pay. That is now the law. That is how it is going to be. So people then should be interested in ensuring that the record you have in the Credit Reference Bureau is a good record and it gives you a score. I know that I just need to say one more point, because that's an important point. The doors to accessing credit have completely opened. In Kenya today, you cannot say that you cannot access money unless there is a problem with your credit profile. In our Credit Reference Bureau database, we have 27 million Kenyans unique IDs who have borrowed. And we have 1.6 million businesses that have accessed credit. Most of that credit has been accessed on an unsecured basis. So access to credit has changed. But the basis of assessing your credit worthiness is your behavior, your credit profile, which generates a score that is going to measure the interest rate that you're going to be charged. That is an extremely important point that I needed to say. So going forward, what do you need to do? You only need to know what kind of credit products are available in the market. What do banks give for businesses? What do SACCOs give for businesses? What do microfinance give for businesses? And you structure your business to have a good credit profile in the CRB. If you want a long-term loan, like you want a 5-year loan, you want a 10-year loan because you want to buy machinery, you now go to another stage which you undertake a credit rating of your business. Credit rating is slightly different from a credit score because a credit rating does a lot more analysis. It includes the industry in which you operate, it includes your management, it includes the type of business that you do. That will also now enable you to get money for a long-term period. So my closing remark on this issue of access to credit and assessment of credit worthiness, that it is no longer a matter of security. It is no longer a matter of collateral. It is a matter of your credit behavior. It is a matter of the type of business that you are running. How profitable and sustainable is that business? access to credit and affordable credit, the doors have now been opened for Kenyans. Thank you very much.
Let's clap for him again and again. That was wonderful, right? Asante sana. Honorable Sam, welcome Coco for that insightful. So we want to go to the almost last bit of this session, and that will be panel again, panel discussion. And that's why I was telling Mr. Sam, don't pour everything. Don't pour everything yet. Hey, there is a lot we need to hear from you and our chairman, FCP Kipisu. I want, so Grace, we can have the seats back. So as we prepare for that, I want to welcome two gentlemen. Just tell us something. One will be the representative of line up of Kakamega. And that is Collins Ojiwa to come and share a snippet of what Lions does in 1 minute. And then we'll have the chairman of the Kakamega Booksellers Association, Mr. Charles Wanyanga, who will follow up with again 1 minute to share, to just say hi and tell us something. Welcome, Mr. Collins.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. Are we all good? All right, thank you. So my name is Leo Konitsa-Gio, Leo from the organization that we come from, that's the Lions Club of Kakamega and the Catch Leo Club. These are basically community-based clubs within our community. And what exactly do we do? We work together with business people, with institutions, with students, with professionals to improve our community the best way that we can. So we work around different causes in our community. We work around education. We work around health. Specifically, we do more in terms of diabetes sensitization. We do a lot in terms of pediatric cancer. That's basically kids that are in different hospitals suffering with different conditions that are related to cancer. We also do a lot of mobility initiatives in our community, where we assemble and donate wheelchairs to deserving members of the community. We also focus more in terms of green energy, where we make our own solar cookers and donate them to deserving members in the community. So up to now, for this year, we have donated about 600 units of solar cookers. They rely on sun 100%. And why do we do this? We do this basically to make sure that our community doesn't cut down the forest that we have, and basically we need to have a sustainable environment. In terms of greening initiative also in our club, we grow trees where we have a tree nursery. So the young ones, we basically set up the tree nursery, we bring the seedlings, we do everything, then we're able to donate them to the community, as well as sell some of them to different corporates that are in need of trees that they can plant in the community. So why is this important for this forum today? This organization, Lions Club International, is not a new organization in our community. For instance, the Lions Club of Kakamega has been in this community since 1969. Probably, not even probably, before I was born. So many years before I was born. And of course I know so many years before some of us here who are equally born. For the Catch Leo Club, which is now the junior version of the Lions Club, it has members between the age of 18 to 30 years. I'm proud to say that this is the #1 club in the entire East Africa. I think we can clap for that because that's in our community. So, what brings us here is for us to collaborate in how we can make our community better. And for business forum like this, what we can guarantee you, because we're already working with quite a number of you, what we can guarantee you is that partnering with us means you're doing the right investment in the community. So, if that company that you are part of, call us and we'll make sure that we organize for you a proper CSR initiative in the community, not only for PR show, but something that is meaningful to our community. With that said and done, I want to thank also the Lions Club president who is in front of me here, that FCPA Lion Kibisu. He does quite a lot, even in terms of supporting the young ones in the community. And because he's also the chair of this gathering today, I believe all of you should now join him in either joining the Lions Club or supporting activities of the Lions Club in our community. Thank you very much, Sateri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. We welcome the chairman, Charles Wanyanga.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Charles Wanyanga. I'm a proprietor of Plateau Bookshop in Mumias and the chairman of Kenya Booksellers Association, Kakamega, Vihiga County. We do book business. We run bookshops in this country as an association. It is a chain of, as an association, we control the book industry in terms of distribution. We have branches across the whole country. We have a head office in Nairobi, managed by a national office. As a chapter, our main idea is to ensure there's proper distribution of the books. In two aspects. We directly deal with parents who come in to buy books. That is for their kids. The next sector is we help the government distribute books and stationery with a capitation kit. Very soon, all of you realize that we'll be back to school. That's in the month of January. And I want to encourage you to try as much as possible to deal with bookshops. Why do I say that? We are assured of aspect of quality in terms of books. That is textbooks and general stationery. Textbooks has a big challenge. We have a lot of pirates in the market. Most of the books that are pirated, you find them always on the streets. They appear cheap. So you find most parents running the streets to buy books. But you are really risking in terms of service delivery to your kid, because most of the books have a lot of mistakes. The kids get the information that is wrong, but when you deal with the bookshops, we always assure of the right stuff, because we normally deal with the publishers and normally deal with the big manufacturers of exercise books and stationery in general. We've had challenges in terms of book distribution. And from the time we landed with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it has really helped us try to solve some of our problems. We're still continuing that particular collaboration because we have a lot of challenges in the book industry. As you are aware, there's a lot of money involved. When the government sends in capitation money, everybody is earning after that money. At the end of the day, you find there are a lot of bogus booksellers who come in to try to steal the money from the kids in collaboration with the head teachers and principals in schools. So we're using our arm with the help of Chamber to try and safeguard the kid in terms of service delivery. So I think in a nutshell, that is what we're doing, and we'll continue working with parents, continue working with our fellow business associates, all of us here. I think we have a role to play, and it's a link because education is the main driving factor of this country. So let's try to use that link to help our kids grow. Let's try to use that link to ensure education grows in this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Mr. Charles Wanyanga. Another round of applause. So again, I've said here, this podium, but the happy thing with this panel is that most of them have broken everything down. So we are going to use the shortest time possible to discuss the issues of credit and tax. The shortest time possible. And with that, you'll allow me to introduce again on stage FCPO Wycliffe Kibisu to take a seat and help us dissect issues of tax. He is the Managing Director of Tax Credit Consulting, Kakamega. They have offices in Kakamega, Kefingo, Nairobi, Mayfair, in Westlands, and then in Mombasa, Nyali. Welcome again, Honorable Samuel Kogo, the Managing Director, Metro Board CRB Limited. Their offices are in Nairobi, KCB Towers, Abahi. So if you are in Nairobi again, you can say hi to Honorable Sam at KCB Towers, Karibuni Sana. And without much ado, we are bound to take around 15 minutes on this session, and then we'll be heading to the closure of this session. Now that they have already spoke to us, we are not going to ask them to start with Awanda, but we'll go straight to the real issue. Again, our Honorable Sam, you've told us so many things about credit, and you've broken them down to businesses. The importance of us following procedures and the importance of us using CRB or any other methods to get financing. But there is one thing, there is a lot of fears. You know, there's fears that CRB is bad, isn't it? Everybody fears CRB, mtu akikweka kwa CRB, wewe ukisha, isn't it? Can you demystify the fear and tell us that CRB is not bad, is a good thing, and tell us that one good thing about CRB?
Thank you, Nico. Yes, we really need to demystify that statement that CRB is a bad thing. I think it is the manner in which it was introduced in the country. Because when the CRBs were licensed, the first information that was shared with the CRB was default information. So people who had defaulted on loans were the only people whose records appeared in the CRB. So at that time, you were in the CRB because you are a defaulter, you are blacklisted. But that changed around 2015. That CRBs are not designed to isolate people who are not able to pay their debts, because people fail to pay their debts for various reasons. CRBs are here to build people's capacity to borrow. And that is why they were then allowed to share both default and performing information. So a CRB is a depository of your credit history. From that credit history gets calculated a credit score. So a CRB delivers three key benefits. One, that if you have a profile, then lenders are confident that they know where you are. That profile is proof that you actually exist. And in the profile, it is supported by your national ID or your business registration number. So that is important. With that evidence that you exist, then access to credit, which is the first benefit of a CRB, becomes automatic. The second one is where we have reached that pricing of credit, pricing of loans, then now depends on how you borrow and repay your loans as expressed in your credit score. Then the third one is the terms that you get will now depend on the credit score that you have. So it's no longer that the CRB is a bad fact. Most people call me and say, oh Sam, please take me out of the CRB. And I tell them, today you want to be the CRB. If you're out of the CRB, you cannot use that phone to access that credit, because lenders will not find you. So a CRB is where to be, and in matters of credit in this country, it is a tool. We should look at it as a tool that will facilitate us to access what businesses want, affordable credit on terms that can fit what you require.
That's so nice. So we should not run away from it, but we should go for it, right? Now, Chairman, FCPA is the issues of tax. The businesses here are always attacked in one way or the other by tax issues. What are the currently emerging issues around tax that these members here should be able to know as they go back to their businesses?
Thank you, moderator. Yes, I think one of the area, and I want us to draw attention to the newspaper advert that came in for KRA on the 7th of November 2025. That's actually advert of what KRA is going to do effective of 2026 has actually shed a lot of shivers to most of the business people. Because most of the business people, effective 2023, when the act came in, which actually said that you should actually implement these tax registers, or what they call ETs, or tax. So majority of the businesses have continued to do business as usual. And that law says that for income tax purposes, you will only be allowed to claim an expense that you have properly supported ETs and bears your PIN number. So some people have been asking, like I run a hotel, and I go to the market and buy from Mama Mboga the various cuckoos, eggs, and Mama Mboga does not give me her ETI. What happens? So majority of those businesses, effective of 1st January, KRA is going to validate from January 2025 to December 2025. You are likely, if you have not been asking for ETIM's receipt for those particular purchases, you are likely to see all your sales being lumped up and being taxed at a rate of 30% if you are a company, or at the rate that is applicable as if that amount is purely profit you made. So that is actually what that legal notice that they gave of 7th of November, which is making it illegal for you to claim an expenditure that is not supported by an ETIM or a tax register, and an expenditure that does not bear your name or the name of the business. So I think that's actually the emerging issue, and I'll actually be able to maybe give you the notice so that we can circulate to all the members who have attended here. So effective January for the income of 2025, please prepare, because you might get shocks that you have never received. Thank you very much.
Right, when you are still on the mic, Chair, where do we run to? Because now most of us might have been missed at a point to have those ETIMs received from our Mama Bogas, right? So where do we run to? Or how do we solve that?
We don't have.
They don't have.
We don't have.
So, Chairman, elaborate on this, because things will be worse in January.
Now, if you look at that legal notice, and if you look at that particular, the legal notice that implemented the ETIMs was done in 2023, the Finance Act of 2023. That is why most of you realize that when they went and they wanted to onboard avocado farmers, it brought a lot of outcry until the MP said that we did not actually allow you to do this. But you know, they did not know that they had passed that law. Are we together? So where you have to go is only to lobby the members of parliament to actually go and repeal that law, which is also very possible for them to do. Because in 2025, that law has been out of operation, so they can only repeal going forward. But as far as 1st January 2025 to December 2025, it will likely be against you, your auditor, and Kenya Revenue Authority applying the law. So where do we go? We can only now start petitioning in the next finance bill and finance bill, so that that law can be repealed, because it is making the mama mboga not to trade. And I remember there's also another way you can raise the eatings. If the person supplying you doesn't know how to raise the eatings, you are allowed to raise the eatings on their behalf. But the catch is, they must give you their PIN number. If the person does not give you the PIN number, then you can't raise it. And if they give you the PIN number, it means that once you raise it, you will be reporting them that trading, without disclosure, because that amount of money will be in their portal. And KRA will actually follow it. I have a case where a mama was supplying milk, and somebody actually said that, Mama, let the PIN number happen to raise it. After a week, after a month, KRA called that mama and said that she owes KRA 200,000. And the mama has never seen the 200,000. She actually only sells milk and goes to the whole money. So that is actually the danger that we have. Some laws that are passed, most of the business don't participate in it, or they leave that they are members of parliament to participate in it. But we have in Kakamega Business Chamber, we have always been calling upon taxpayers, business people, to come for meetings like this, so they can make what we call a submission. If you don't make a submission during budget, then that's cool. But you can have a room next year to make a submission, so that 2026 that don't suffer the same thing. But 2025, unless they repeal backward, but my customer will tell you that laws cannot be made retrospectively. They can only focus in the future. Thank you very much.
That's so interesting, Chairman, and an eye-opener to us all. About credit now. Our honorable Sam, and you've been in this field for some time, and you've told us a statement that really affects Kakamega, and most of us, we've been hearing this statement that Kakamega people don't borrow. And if we borrow again, we don't pay. Is it still the status quo, or has it improved? Because from where I sit, there's so much borrowing in Kakamega. And what makes us not borrow now that you are here at some point as our manager?
Well, that's a tough question. What makes us not borrow? From historical observation, it is fear. Fear of property being auctioned. We have entrepreneurs amongst ourselves, but I think that fear is what needs to be taken off. And what has happened is that going forward, you see, the coming entrepreneurs, our children, they're not going to own that land. That land is subdivided, Kakamega. So nobody's looking at giving them loans against pledges of those properties. We're looking at different types of tools to facilitate access to credit. And the first one is the one we've talked about. So what I would say is that the opportunities that are available in Kakamega, we need to relook at them with a different eye. But there's one challenge that I've seen in Kakamega. It's called capital flight. Capital flight is very high in Kakamega. What do I mean by capital flight? Capital flight is that most of the monies that we receive is spent on buying things from outside. So the money we receive here, we buy stuff from other places, and then the money goes away. So you go to the markets here, you find that vehicle has come from Naivasha with potatoes and cabbage and what have you, very early in the morning. They offload to you, and you give them the money. Yeah. I sent you money
I send my grandmother maybe 1,000, 2,000 shillings. The next thing she does is board a matatu, go to Rwanda or whatever, buy stuff from there, leave the money there, and come back with goods. Inside here, the circulation of money is very limited. For example, I understand Masinde Muliro University every year receives about 8 billion. But if you look at the expenditure of that money in terms of people who supply these provisions to that institutions, the people who teach there, when they earn, that money is actually being sucked out of the county. So we have a challenge of capital flight. And one of the things that we do is that if we do not address that challenge of capital flight, establishing a business here that can thrive becomes a challenge. And it is, in another session, we can be able to go deeper and say, if capital is not available easily to a community to set up businesses, that becomes a real challenge. The other thing I notice is that if you count the number of businesses registered in Kakamega vis-a-vis the population, we're now about 2 million people in Kakamega. The number of businesses is less than 20,000. So who is serving this population of 20 million people? We need more people to set up businesses to serve this population by producing things from here and not making the population buy from outside to consume, so that we stop being a consumer economy to a production economy.
Now, on the same note, we will also handle this, and then FCP also handle the same question on tax, and then after that we'll go to the plenary for questions. The question is, how are these businesses going to navigate issues of credit? Do you have a space in Kakamega where they can visit your office here, or they must just come there? Or how do they get those services? Because the challenges can be addressed by a professional like you under Metropole. The same to FCP. How are we going to navigate these challenges of tax starting now? Not because we're expecting now a looming challenge coming in January for so many businesses here. So how are we going to navigate them? Where can we find you to support us?
Okay, thank you. First, we have an office. I have two of my staff who are based in please introduce yourself, just a name.
I'm Simon Okwako, Business Development Officer, Western Kenya region. My names are Franklin Terewa. I'm the Regional Manager, Metropole CRB, Western. Thank you.
So this team is on the ground, and you can connect with us through very many channels, social media, whatever, and the team is on the ground. We are here to actually enable you be able to solve your problems and enable you to access credit whenever you want to, whenever you have a challenge.
Question. Where are your physical offices?
There's a question from plenary? We are coming there because after he finishes and then the mic comes to the plenary, right? So, finish.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think also I have two managers. Just stand where they are. Just your name.
My name is Thomas Mwangi. I'm the manager of Spirit Consulting.
My name is Brian, assistant.
So I have an office in Kefingo, a full-fledged office. It's one of the biggest in the region for tax and audit and financial planning. I have an office in Mayfair Business Center, Block A. The entire floor, we are actually serving the businesses within Nairobi, Kiambu, and the region. And then I have an office in Nyali, a place called Ngoni Road, Beach Road, the former UK Visa place. We just asked the UK Visa place, we are now the tenants who are there, who are serving the whole of the coast region. And we are also available online. And I've actually had a WhatsApp group where I've been engaging with most of you. So if you are not on the WhatsApp group, you can ask a question that relates to you specifically, you can also send me privately if it is private, and I'll be able to respond to you. That is the only way you get what you call free advisory services for most expensive tax consultant like us. Thank you very much.
That's very much. So we can have a microphone going to plenary. One question. Another one. There was a question there. And then another one. We just do a round of 3 questions. We have 1, 2. Yeah. So we start with this.
The team behind this session and my colleagues, good morning. I do not have a question but a comment. Here in Kakamega or Western region, we are mostly preoccupied with the Luya unity. Many a time, even where I come from, we had a forum where either an MCA or an MP telling the people these are the opportunities, take advantage of them. I do recall recently when former Mayor Kakamega brought the idea of supplying cows. Those was poorly prepared. How I wish when an idea is hacked, all the nitty-gritties are looked into so that we do not end up goofy. Then what I would request kindly, now that you have the minds, like Mheshimiwa here, synthesize, simplify what is possible in terms of business, use every media, even if it's public forum, tell the people this is what exists in your midst, and we want people to come forward and participate in this business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can move the mic together. Thank you, sir, for that.
Good morning. Mine was a request. I wanted to know the physical office, the location of the physical office. Just that.
Where plan? Yes, we have, we work through agency, our agency network. We have an agent at Ambere Plaza. It's called Kakamega ICT. That's where you can find our services. But normally when you need to reach us directly, I can give you my number. Just record my number right now, 0735 446644. 07, I can repeat again, 0735 446644. You can reach directly, then we can solve any of the issues that you have.
Do you have any other questions from the plenary? That marks the end of this discussion. Thank you very much, FCP Ibisu from Tax Credit Consulting and Honorable Samuel Koko. You can leave it, sir. Thank you. So we are moving to as we have told you, if you don't know where to start from, just come to chamber. If you don't know where to start issues in the country and in the world, so we will guide you step by step until your issues are done what? Sorted. And then the last thing I want to say before I welcome my chair now to give us closing remarks, and then after that we'll have Dr. Yusuke L. Mandela to give us a vote of thanks. If you are not a member, I know today we performed very well in terms of membership. I'm 100% sure today I did 100% membership. Clap for yourself. This meeting is purely members of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So those who have missed, maybe they are not members, but a lot of them had shown interest. Some of them were challenged with the time. Wakasema mimi mwingine anaamka saa 4 time tunamaliza, but next time we will improve on time. So with that remarks, I welcome now the chairman FCP Ibisu to close the meeting with our closing remarks, and then we will have Dr. Lucy Mandela to come and give us a lot of thanks, and then we will have a prayer for tea from Director Juma, and also prayer as we go home, and then we'll be networking. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us give him he deserves a clap. He's also our very own. He came as an intern, and I can tell that I trust him to do the best. And he has done well. And he's also the officer of one of the loans program called MasterCard Foundation. He's actually the one who is coordinating the program of MasterCard Foundation in this region. So for those mamas who want what you call single-digit loans, he's actually the one who is actually coordinating that program. So it's actually good to know that the chamber can make a difference. Chamber can make a difference. Oneness, unity can make a difference. And only not unity, if you are not financially stable, you can never be united. If you are hungry, hello, uko na njaa na mwingine amekula, hamtakuja pamoja. That's true. And I want just to echo whatever he has just said, and what he actually mentioned here, that one of the facts that you need to know, Kakamega is an Ngoho place. We eat the largest amount of chicken, but yet we produce less than 20% of the chicken we consume here. And somebody actually rears chicken right away from, I know him, from Kiambu, transport it here, and still make profit. Are we together? Reality, how long does it take you to raise a chicken? It's the most profitable business that is existing, yet 90% of our eggs come from Uganda. We have one of our members here who is the regional director of 5 countries in KNCCI. So why are we not? Yes, he's actually, if you do not know the owner of Skies 9, he's actually the one who is actually heading KNCCI. He's actually the one who is mobilizing Uganda to beat us the chicken. Hello, have you heard that? He's a lawyer from here and he stays here. He's the one who mobilizes Uganda to beat us in chicken. So why can we learn from here? If you want to learn, we are providing that. Just like I'm making remarks, businesses, you also need to learn into a CSR. When I was called to take on the land as the president of land, I told Pape that I'm so busy. And for sure I was so busy. And his answer was, he doesn't look for idle people. He looks for busy people. And that's why I fall perfectly to be a member of and the president of land. I want just to mention to you is that this lions, you might not have known it, but it's not only made for Asians. Lions is for all of us. And for those who have gone the ratio for eye hospital, they know what lions are doing in the ratio. Most of people from East Africa go to the ratio to have their eyes being actually supported. And there's actually lions in Vihiga, which actually are running the Sabatia Eye Clinic, Eye Hospital, which is also doing very well. So, and then there is a biggest hospital in the region for lions is being constructed in Kisumu. It will be bigger than the Roresho Lions, under the courtesy of the Lions Club Kisumu. So our members, Kakamega was one of the pioneer Lions Club, but it has gone down. So when we are living here, I'm giving you this example because one of the things that is there, some of the challenges that have been given in the business, I've been able to match the challenge. The same person who was the president of Lions called me and asked me, I want 10 Africans who can give me 100,000 as a Jones. St. John. St. John is one of the highest rank of Lions. And I told him that I will not go to look for Africans, I will count myself as number 1. So our dignity matters in ensuring that we do what is required. So when we live here, I know in the next 1 year I'll be living as a Lion president. I'm seeing many people here, like my advocate here, Kasamani, my senior, Mukoko, and all the people who are here. Please meet my Leo president. He was the Leo president and also is the deputy governor for District 411 for the Leos. Leos are the young lions. And the actually covers Ethiopia, Kenya, and Seychelles. So allow, if you want to be a lion, I'm coming actually to see you, Please see me after this meeting, because not you want. I will also come to you and say that yes, you are busy, but I'm also equally busy. By the way, I had to fly from Mombasa to come for this regular meeting because I had a plan yesterday until morning, but I told my leader that I'll be there, and immediately after this regular session, I'm flying back because I have another guest in Nairobi. And for you, you are so great to me, and I had to come. So for those many remarks, I want to tell you this. Don't leave here without knowing the person sitting next to you. And at least 5 people. They might turn out to be your customers. They might turn out to be your customers or your suppliers. God bless you so much. And for those of you who also asked about how they can be supported, please, even if you don't have money and you are being under pressure by KRA, I always have a vote here for what you call CSR. I can still support you. You come out of the case, and when you grow, you become big, you will pay. But I'll still support you. Then don't close your business because revenue has come in and they have asked 100 million and you have never seen 100 million in your account. Get a good tax advisor. And when you have seen what is going to happen next January, please start arranging your get somebody to do what you call a health check. If you don't have money and you want a health check, please see me Kando. I'll evaluate. But if I turn out you are a Safaricom and you want me to support you, I'll only support Mama Mboga because it's Mama Mboga. But if you are Safaricom, you will pay the price of Safaricom. So well. God bless you so much. I call upon my director Lucy, who also sits on the board. Are you still on the board? Yeah. You know that people have never known the chamber. The chamber is represented on all boards of polytechnics. The chamber is also supposed to be represented in all departments of the county. So if you want to be one of the person representing it, so he's representing in one of our board, and I think, I hope you have told them which board you are in. So they can come and look for, there are some services you might want on that board. So you now need to know that one of your members sits there. And he sits there to advance your interest at the business.
Morning, everyone. Good morning once more. My name is Lucy Mia, one of the directors of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kakamega, and I also sit on the municipal board of Mumias. Besides that, I'm a senior lecturer and researcher at Masinde University of Science and Technology. My work here is very brief, just to give a vote of thanks. Oh, and I'm also a business lady in this town. I'm in real estate, and that is why I'm here. Maybe you could be. I'm here as a business person, not a lecturer. So my work is very simple, to give a vote of thanks. And first of all, I wish to thank God for giving us good health to be here and setting aside this day that has been successful. Secondly, I wish to thank our experts, the panelists. We've had very useful insights. We've learned and relearned and unlearned, isn't it? Yeah, for the first time I've known that CRB is not bad. I've always imagined when you talk about CRB, you know, so I've actually relearned that aspect. Being on CRB simply means we've been encouraged to have what? A good credit profile. How's your credit profile and all that? So thank you very much, our panelists. Business people are facing very many risks, and this morning you've just enlightened us on how we can navigate through all those risks in terms of credit, business law, real estate and all that. We thank you for that, and we don't take that for granted. We want to thank our partners who have sponsored this event. May God bless you so much. and not mentioning the business community from different categories, different sectors. I was not here during the introduction, so I can't mention, but I know we are from different sectors. If it were not for us, this event wouldn't have been a success. Thank you so much for turning up. And I believe that as we leave this place, we are going to improve, or rather we are going to grow our various businesses in one way or another. We are going to network with 1, 2, 3, or even 10 people, so that when we come from this event, it will be memorable that, I was able to get a supplier, I was able to get a buyer, and all that, or to get a client out of the Kakamega Business Forum 2025. And the organizing team, led by our CEO, Mikel, my student. Actually, the event is very successful. Thank you very much, and your team, and may God bless you so much. Not forgetting our host, Kakamega Sports Club. I can see the tea is waiting for us. Let me not be the one who should be standing between you people and the tea. Thanks so much for hosting us and giving us this conducive environment to have this event. So, to crown all the people whom we've thanked, we will just collect the flowers. You've just seen men here. This is, at least a lady has come to crown. So we will pluck flowers. Then we just do like this to give all those flowers to ourselves. Can we pluck the different colors? Red, blue, yellow, green. Give the flowers to ourselves. Thank you very much, and I wish to take this opportunity to invite Director Peter to come and close the meeting with our prayer. Thank you.
It's still morning. I want to say a very short prayer that will unite our hearts and also ask God to open ways for us. I'm sure that the food is already prayed for. Yes. Because you see, any service done with the Spirit, any work done in the spirit of service is worship. May we pray. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Glory be to God. Thank you. Let's have a high prayer.
So, just to finish up, we are going to have a group photo, but in this order. First of all, I want to welcome FCP